Hey everybody, welcome to our call in August, at the end of August. And I just heard somebody on a call somewhere, again in my yoga class, and she said, can you believe it's already September? It's like the year has already come and gone. Everything seems to move so fast. I think part of that is because we love what we do. Do you think that could be part of it? Like when you love what you're doing, the time goes fast. And when you were a kid in school, it took forever for that clock to tick around. So tonight I'm really excited because we are having Michelle Rogers on our call tonight. For those of you who don't know who I am Nikki Cotton, 100 Club with our Juice Plus company. Been with the company for 29 years and have had an absolutely amazing ride. And one of the things I feel blessed today about is that even though I've been with the company for 29 years, I'm continuing to learn every day. I did 2 new exploration calls today, and some of the stuff that came through me just kind of like was such a surprise and a delight. And I know it's because I practice what we do continually. And so the business is such a fun, it's fun adventure, even though we continue to do similar calls, but every call is so different because we're working with a different person. And tonight is going to be one of those. We have a featured speaker every Tuesday night. I did not get a formal bio for Michelle, and I love that because I'm going to tell you what I know about her. So when I first heard about Michelle, it was because, and I bet it was same for most of you, it was, why do we take Juice Plus for 4 months? Oh yeah, that's Michelle Ball, right? Michelle Ball, like you want a video, you go and find Michelle Ball on YouTube, and she's the one that's going to tell everybody why we take it for 4 months. And I also knew, because I'd heard this from lots of NMDs, Michelle, that you don't know, but that you were an up-and-coming star in Canada and we needed to pay attention to you. So I heard that. And then I had the privilege of spending some time with her at the Breckenridge boot camp, and then afterwards at Sean and Jennifer's house. And I completely fell in love. She has beautiful kids. She has an incredible husband. She is a sensational decorator. I'm wanting her to come to California and spend a week at my house. And she really is one of the top earners in Canada and is so well respected. So I cannot wait for her to share about high payoff activities. So I'm just going to turn this right over to you, Michelle. We're not going to waste any time. And if you would be willing, to share your story a little bit so people can know a little bit about you and any background thing that you think is important. And then we're all going to be taking notes like mad. I know it.
So, thank you so much, Nikki. That was such a sweet introduction, and I feel the same exact way about you. So it was an honor getting to know you and get some really good quality time that we got together and really get into heart conversations. So thanks for having me on your call, you guys. I'm just going to share my screen and share my story through the actual PowerPoint I have. So tonight I'm going to talk about keeping it simple, but before I do that, I want to share with you guys my story. And I first heard about this product 7.5 years ago. And because I'm a high school science teacher, I was actually highly skeptical. I just did not get fruit and vegetable concentrates. I was the girl that was like, no, thank you, I'll eat it the real way. And I was just being like on my high horse. And it took at least 12 exposures before I would even hear what it actually was. That's how skeptical I was. And I share that because I think so often, so many of us, including myself, we stop at the first sign of resistance and we stop sharing because we don't want to bother somebody. But this product literally changed our life. My son Lincoln was struggling with tonsil infections at the time. And not only was he getting tonsil infections more and more frequently, we were in the hospital every 2 months. But also on top of that, because of all the antibiotics, he was struggling with behavior issues and attention span concerns that I had as a teacher. So I thought, I need to get these tonsils out. And my friend Sandy thought she needs to know about Juice Plus. And so thankfully she came at me one more time and said, Michelle, you know that I love Lincoln, right? And I thought about it for a minute and I looked at her, I'm like, you are going to share about Juice Plus again, aren't you? And we both had a giggle and she's like, just let me tell you what it is. If it's not for you, no worries. And to this day, I really try to channel my inner Sandy because, she has such a superpower of not caring what other people think. She's always saying, it's none of my business unless they make it my business. So I just go on assuming that they're just fine with me sharing until they tell me otherwise. And that's been one of the best things I could have ever learned. So that's how I found the product. It obviously changed my life. I probably won't need to say that to you guys. Like, Lincoln's behavior and attention span normalized. He started to fight his own infections without any medical intervention. It was just a godsend for us. We never did have his tonsils removed, and it's been almost 8 years now, and he's not had any antibiotics. So, I mean, just life changing. And I thought, what if I could get my whole family on this product? And that's when my friend Sandy said, why don't we look at a discount? Now, I have built my entire 100 Club team on the discount, and I still to this day think it's a really, really important tool. We've gone through seasons where we try to be more forward with the business, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work for the people that are good at the business up here in Canada. And I think it's the same for the US. You know, people look at a business like this, and the first thing they think is, that looks amazing for you, but I don't think I could do that. So what we need to do is help them fall in love with the product, and then get them in on a discount, ask them to host a casual event, and plug them into the community. Those are the steps that create a working distributor, and those were the exact steps that my upline took with me. So she got me on the discount, asked me if I would host an event. I chose to do it at my mom's house because I didn't have a lot of friends where I lived. And then she got me to a real live, Juice Plus training. And that's where I plugged into the community. That's where I saw the vision. To be honest, Sandy and I were so close, I don't know that I could have caught the vision from her, even if she had tried. We're so different, and she's a yogi, and she's all about intuition and spirituality, and I needed the cold, hard facts. So that's why events are so powerful. You bring them, and the person will hear what they need to hear from the speaker that's right for them. And for me, that was Kerry Daigle. And he was just such a powerhouse businessman. And that's how I was raised, and I had owned several businesses before, and that just got me. I just thought, what am I doing? I already love this product. This business is incredible. What if I could earn $2,000 a month and have a permanent mat leave and stay home with my kids forever, or for as long as I want to? So that was my goal. I got out of there thinking, I didn't really tell anyone because it felt like a big, scary goal. But I got home and I started doing this business more consistently and more consciously. And I used my hot tub. I would encourage you to use whatever entertaining space that you have to just gather people. And I never really said, like, come over for a hot tub party where I'm going to talk to you about Juice Plus. I just would invite my girlfriends over. It's what I had at the time. And I'd say, come over for some wine in a hot tub. And then of course it would come up, what are you up to or whatever. And then I would just share, and I would say, would you ever do anything like that? Gosh, I would love to work with you. And, we would get into a conversation about it. So that's how I got my first few distributors and a lot of my customers. And I got to sales coordinator, and that was really exciting. Earning $500 a month, felt pretty good about my $2,000 per month goal. And then life totally blindsided me. So at the time I was married, my husband at the time was a volunteer firefighter. He was an engineer, a great dad, but he was also an addict. And he struggled severely with addiction. And one day he just gave in to that addiction and just literally left us. And overnight I became a single parent, earning $500 per month with my side business and wondering, what am I going to do? Obviously the logical thing was to go back to teaching. And that's what my family was hoping for. But my heart was already so wrapped up in this business, and also in staying home with my kids. It just was something that was so natural to me, to be at home and be raising them. My mom did it for me, and I really desperately wanted to do it for my kids. So that's where I decided, it's time to put my head down and throw my shoulders into the harness and work this business like it is an empire. And I got really intentional. When I look back at some of the messages I was sending at that time, I'm almost like a little shy about it, like how forward I was and how much I would follow up with people. And I would never let a conversation go unanswered. I always got a yes or a no. And I shared with everybody I met. And that's what it takes to build a business fast. So I got from a sales coordinator to NMD in 1 year. And that was amazing, because not only did I get back to a place where I was earning what I would have been making as a teacher, but also too, during that year, I was able to be a mom first. And although I was really busy and I did have to make some sacrifices, when my kids needed me, I could shut my computer, put my phone down, and just 100% be their mom. And I will never forget the day that my son Lincoln came over, and he's like, Mom, I know that Daddy left because I pushed Ava. And I was like, oh my goodness, honey. And when they say like kids blame themselves about divorce, they do. And I just pulled him up into my lap. He was 4 years old at the time. You know, these pictures are the ages that my kids were when I became a single mom. And I said, honey, your daddy loves you so much, more than anything in this world, but he is sick and he can't be a parent right now. And I know it's hard to understand, but it has nothing to do with you. And we both love you. And the reason that was so meaningful to me is that I would have been at work for that conversation. It was in the middle of a clear blue day and he was just playing with his toys and I was playing alongside him and it just fell out of his mouth. And I know as a teacher, it's a wonderful job, but I got home late. I had to lesson plan and mark papers. I was waiting for bedtime and just like timing it for when the kids would go to sleep. And I just wasn't the parent that I wanted to be. So for me, that's really what this business did. And then for the next 3 years, I continued to work the business just as hard. It took me 3.5 years in total to get to 100 Club. And I don't say that to be like, oh, look at me, but I say it because it's possible. You know, if you have a why big enough, you can do it. You just have to keep your high paying activity as a top priority, which we're going to talk about tonight. But through that 3.5 years, more importantly than anything, I grew. I grew as a mom. I grew as a sister. I grew as a friend. And I grew as a woman. I became just more. And I remember Tony Robbins saying, the purpose of the goal is not the goal. You know, it's not about getting to 100 Club. It's not about getting the new house or the new car or whatever it is that your goal is. It's about the fact that the version of you right now is not capable of that goal, or you would already have it. So you have to grow in order to achieve that goal. So that is the true spiritual, deep down purpose of having a goal. It's so that you grow, so that you can serve humanity on a higher level. And that's what happened for me. I grew. And through that, you know, after I hit 100 Club, many people were bugging me being like, why are you still single? Like, when are you going to start dating? And I knew that my business had to be priority at that time. Then I hit 100 Club and I decided to open myself up to the possibilities. And I met the most amazing man who, I am going to be very honest with you, I would not have felt worthy of this man before my personal growth. He is the most incredible kind of person, and he is a mentor to my children and the leader of our household. And I just feel so grateful to have him. And I know that this business is what I have to credit. It's crazy, but this business is personal development cleverly disguised. And that is what brought him into my world. And so now we're a blended family. My business has also been able to bring him home. He used to work fly in, fly out in up north in Canada in the oil sands. And he made $200,000 a year up there. So very, very good money, but we only got to have him half of our lives. And it just hit a point where it was no longer worth it for us to have him gone all the time, where I knew my children and his children needed him on a more consistent basis. And so we retired him from that line of work. He was a welder. I've got a mosquito flying around in here. And that job served him well, but it was no longer serving us. So because of this business, I was able to look at him and say, I want you home and you're not happy. So let's bring you home. You know, there's absolutely no reason. We don't need your income. And wow, to be able to do that for your family, like, it's probably one of the most amazing things that this business has ever gifted me with, because just over a year ago, my kid's biological dad passed away very suddenly of heart failure due to his addiction. And my man, their stepdad, was home that day and was able to pick my daughter up and hug her and tell her, you don't have to do this alone. So when I share this business with people, I know what I'm offering them. I'm offering them all the moments that matter, all the time that they want with their family. I took 2 months off when the kid's dad passed away. I just 100% poured myself into them and helping them heal. And I would not have been able to do that as a teacher. There's no possible way. So that's my story, and that's what this business has offered us. more recently, and on a much higher note, we decided to make 2019 the year of joy and experiences and adventure, because we had a tough 2018. So we bought an RV this year. I wish I had pictures of it in this presentation. And I'll add them now that I'm thinking about it. But we bought an RV and we renoed it. And I wanted to do that because I just love bright, white, pretty spaces. It's just my way. You can see my office behind me. It's kind of all white with, like that sort of like shabby chic decor. So I made the trailer that way. I painted all the walls white. I painted the cabinets white. I recovered the burgundy seating area with gray and white. And I put beautiful sheepskin in there and blankets and the cutest bedding from IKEA. And it is honestly like a little clubhouse. Like, I go out there all the time to just enjoy quiet time. It is the cutest little space. And the coolest thing about it is we can tow it wherever we want. So we took it out. We were gone for 2 months this summer as a family, and we got to park oceanfront on Vancouver Island. And I remember when I was doing the reno thinking, this is all going to be worth it, because it was a lot of work when the ocean view is pouring through these windows. And it was phenomenal. And so we can move our tiny house wherever we want. We can go into the rainforest, which we did. We can go out to the West Coast where the waves come crashing in into Fino, and the sand beaches go for miles and miles and miles. I mean, the adventures we took in that little RV this summer were amazing. And what was really cool is we made it an electronic free zone. So we were 100% connected and plugged in as a family. And again, I mean, what kind of business can you just take 2 months to be with who matters to you and go where your heart desires? And yes, I worked a little bit. I had my phone there and I did Zoom calls and I ran focus groups, but I was doing it from a lawn chair in front of the ocean, just waking up when I wanted to wake up, and being a mom, and, kayaking with my kids. And so this business, guys, the layers of what this business has offered our family is unbelievable. But not even just my family, like the ability to give back. I just went into Canadian Tire. Obviously you guys don't have that because that's a Canadian store. I was there, and I was, no, actually it was a sporting store, and they asked me if I would like to donate to Kids Sport. And Kids Sport is a program that helps families in need put their kids into organized sports. And this is near and dear to me. I know as a single mom, I nearly could not afford my kids' hockey fees, and it was devastating. So I donated the amount that I wanted to. And she asked me 3 times confirming the amount that I had said, because, typically people are donating $2 or whatever. And I said, no, I meant that amount. And she was like, okay, we usually give out one of these balls for every $2. So do you want all of them? I'm like, no, that's okay. We'll take 3 or 4 of them. But the point of the story was, I can give where my heart wants to give, time-wise, money-wise. Like, it's just, those are things that I didn't have available to me as a teacher, in terms of time freedom and being able to give back. And so my kids are standing right there beside me at the till watching me give back like that. And that's what's being legacied down to these guys. And again, that's thanks to this business. So without further ado, that is my story. I'm going to share with you guys some of the high paying activity that I have always used to build my business and still use today and train my team on today in order for them to build their businesses. Oh, I'm glad I had this picture in here. So this is my family now. So Kelly and I have 2 kids each, and then my bonus daughter, so that is my ex-husband's daughter. She is a very big part of our family still as well. So we are beautifully blended, and this was us in Cuba this year, taking a much needed holiday. This is how we started 2019, and it's just continued to be a year of blessings for us. So here is our very simple system, you guys. This is how simple we keep it. You need a set of startup steps. So if you're using the Freedom Revolution, that's wonderful. We have our own startup steps in our team, which are very similar to the Freedom Revolution. It's just that we had them there before the Freedom Revolution came up with their great startup steps. So when we get a new rep, we take them through their startup meeting. We teach them how to create curiosity on Facebook. So we have some examples saved in our team page, and all it is just screenshots of some great posts that we've seen. We just throw them in example post album in our Facebook page. And then we set 3 events in their first 30 days. I really like to make an in-home event mandatory because there is nothing like heart-to-heart connection and being in a room with your new rep and their people. You can start recruiting mentally for them. You know, oh my gosh, who's Christy? She seems amazing. What's her story? Like, how can we get to know her better? Let's talk about getting her on your team. You know, and I always like headhunt a little bit for my new rep because they're a bit overwhelmed. They're like a new baby, right? So you have to spoon feed them a little while. And at the beginning, you're going to be the one keeping track of it all and not overwhelming them with the details of who might be good on their team. And that I find is really easy to do when you have an in-home event. I love Zoom events. We've just started sharing videos on those. So we just share the What is Juice Plus video, and then we share some stories. And then we share a business video that we like, and then we share some stories. So very, very simplistic. The Healthy Living Revolution also has a very good, or the Freedom Revolution has a very good party that you can do on Zoom as well. And it's excellent. Lots of my team members use that one as well. And then we, of course, have a Facebook event, or they can choose to do 2 in-home events. I don't care what their 3 are, as long as one of them is an in-home. That's what I like to go for. And when a team member is new, they don't know what they don't know. All they know is they feel a little bit timid. They're not sure that they want to do this really. And so it's your job to just gently walk them towards VF. And we do that by having events. So what I and my team members like to say is, you know what, it wouldn't even be fair to you to let you join my team without having some events in place. It's my job to help you be as successful as possible. And that's why I'm going to set a couple events. Does next week or the week after work better for you to have an in-home event? So all they're doing is choosing what week works better, and they're not choosing whether or not they want to do an event. And just, you know, you handle the details for them. Tell them to keep it simple, a fruit and veggie tray, that's all that's needed. The way that you invite to these is really laid back. You just message, and we share this invitation verbiage with everybody. So you message your friend, or your new girl does, and say, hey, I'm having a little wine night in my home, and I'm going to be sharing about this new product I'm pretty excited about, but it's super casual. Please don't bring your wallet. It's not about ordering the cheapest thing on the order form. I just want you to come and see what I'm up to and have some time with you. So are you free on da 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 da? And that has been the invite that we've used for the last 7 years, and it's been like our magic potion in terms of getting people to that event, because the girls want to come out for a wine night, but you know, they don't want to order the spatula, our version of the spatula, right? Like they just want to come support their friend and be able to walk out. And then it's all about the follow-up. Sometimes though, we do have women phoning home and being like, hey honey, can you go get my purse off of the whatever? I left my wallet at home and I actually want to order. I need my credit card. And so that does happen, but it really is all about the follow-up, which we're going to talk about in a minute. And then, you know, if it's for them, great. They're a new customer or a new team member. And then you just follow this wheel again if they're a new team member. So that's how simple we keep it, guys. It's just, you know, creating some curiosity on Facebook, doing those 3 launch events. And through that, you're going to help your new person get to VF, because that's where they're going to have a taste of success and enjoyment for this business. So here is the income producing activities that we use after the startup wheel. So that's what I would do in the first 30 to 60 days with a new rep. But then after, you're going to have to help them get into a routine of posting and doing things on a consistent daily basis when they're not doing their first 3 events anymore. They've done that. They've hopefully gotten to VF, or even if they haven't, we're going to take them into the income producing activities, IPAs, that's what we call them. So here are the 5 high paying activities in our business. And let's start with a little bit about them. So these are activities that will actually build your business. Okay. So don't get lost in management mode or playing it safe. It's really easy to be like, you know, do everything you're supposed to do in the beginning. And then all of a sudden you've got a team member, and then, well, I'm just going to manage them. I'm going to help them with their events and help them make flyers and plan events. And I'm going to stay safe. And I've been there, you guys. Oh my goodness. Have I ever? We've all fallen into management mode. It's a lot easier and a lot safer in management mode. It's not as scary when we're not inviting our own guests. But we had Kerry Daigle on a call last night, and he put up a slide, and it's so simple, but it just blew my mind. Has that ever happened to you guys where someone says something, you've heard it a million times before, but that day? Okay, so the slide said this: if you aren't getting guests to events, you're not building a business. Like, seriously, still gives me goosebumps. And even at this point in my business, I'm not getting as many people to events as I once did. And I need to pick up my socks and start doing it again. It's my responsibility. This information is so powerful. And you guys know that if you get people in front of this information and they actually watch a video or come to a Prevention Plus or hear about the product and they take the time to listen, they're usually interested. They usually want more information or sign up, right? So it's all our job is to get them in front of the information and make sure that they've actually ingested the information. And that's what the income producing activities are about. It's harder to get back into momentum after you lose it. So stay out of your comfort zone. If you've started and you've got some good momentum, just stay out there. It's way harder to then go back into your comfort zone and then, look back and be like, wow, I was really brave back then. How am I going to get back to that? So let's talk about posting. People don't connect to your perfection. They really don't. And I'm so glad that for a very long time, I had been listening to Brené Brown trainings, and she was sharing about the power of vulnerability. And thankfully, this came across my path in my first year of this business 8 years ago or 7.5 years ago. So I have always done my business with vulnerability. I have always shared about my story about divorce and addiction. And that has literally been the thing that got me to where I am. And, just a side note, when my ex-husband passed away, I remember that day so clearly. It was just so painful. I had no idea how much it was going to impact me. And I looked up at the roof and I wanted to be mad and be like, how could you leave us? But instead, what came into my heart was, thank you for gifting us with our story. Like, my entire business has been built because of the story that you gave to us. And yes, it's not pretty, but people connect to it. And I've always shared it. And therefore people understand me and who I am and the fabric of what makes me human. So it's so important to be real on social media. Nobody really wants to follow somebody who's got a perfect life, because that just makes them feel shame about their imperfect life, right? So really important to be real in and amongst the joy and the happiness and that kind of thing. Sometimes I'll look at my social media feed and be like, ooh, I've been way too perfect lately. And I find something to be imperfect about. I'm like, what about my dirty car? Oh yeah, I'll go take a picture of that and put it on social media and be like, I remember saying, for anyone who thinks I have it all together, this is what the inside of my car looks like. People were like, whoa, good. I'm glad you're human. And they were literally commenting that below. So posts should be short and concise if possible. Some posts can be longer if you say long post alert, like I'm sharing my heart here and people will read it. But for the most part, they want to have like a quick 2 or 3 sentences to read. You need to tell people why it's important for them to read your post. They don't care about your picture that you're putting there unless you share why they should care. If it's a picture of family, they always care because they love you. But if it's something else, tell them why that post should matter to them or why it matters to you. Share your experience with everything, not the facts. Not like, we went to an amusement park today. Like, people don't, that's not interesting. Like, we went to an amusement park today and my daughter conquered her fear and got on a scary ride for the first time in her life. I was such a proud mama watching her have that moment and wrestling with her fear and getting over it. And then a picture of Ava at the amusement park, right? Like, what post are you going to want to read more and remember more? So share your experience, not the facts. Use a photo of you. People don't care what you're selling. They just care about you. So if you're going to be posting about the product, share a picture of you holding the capsules, or your kids holding the capsules, because they want to see you and not what you're selling. Share one part of your experience. I'm sure you guys can relate. The longer you're on the product, the more amazing your story gets, right? And then there's layers and layers and layers of all these things it's done for you. Don't try to post those all. You might want to take just one little nugget of your story. For example, it might have helped your skin, or, maybe it helped your mood. And little snippets of your story. Share one at a time. And don't feel like you ever share too much, because I remember back in the day, I posted about Lincoln's tonsil infection once in 2 years. To get to NMD. I did it all in person because we weren't good at social media back then. And now I realize people may not even see that post, or they may not have read it. I need to continue sharing about Lincoln's tonsils over and over again on social media from my heart, and who cares if it's a little bit of overlap? You can't over promote. You really can't when you're doing it with your experiences. post at least once a week about both the product and the lifestyle of this business. And in the beginning, you guys, I was making $100 a month. So I had to come up with, well, what is this business doing for me right now? I'm not making millions or anything like that. But you know, what I would say is, wow, like thanks to my business, I was able to get my nails done this month. And what a nice touch of self-care that's been for me as a single mama, you know? And like people were like, wow, I've got 2 NMDs that joined my team because of my nail posts. Seriously, these moms were looking at me thinking, how can she be at the nail salon on Tuesday morning? I don't understand. And then they joined me, and both of them talk about it in their story. So just sharing what the business has done for you, even if you feel like it's not spectacular yet, just think of something that you can attribute to this business. Be vulnerable, guys. It's the birthplace of connection. I already said that. What is your brand? I'm just going to quickly share this. You know, here's 2 NMDs on my team. These are both the girls that joined because of my nail salon posts, you guys. That's so funny. I didn't even realize. Carrie Karen is by nature just the most beautiful photographer. Look at her page. It is perfect. And that is her. That is her to a T. Everybody knows that's Carrie. And she loves editing photos and she loves quotes. So that's her. That's her brand. Now, Lauren Lungal, on the other hand, is not like that. She will call herself a hot mess. Her page is 100% her. And if she tried to make her page look like Carrie, people would stop trusting her. They would be like, oh, okay, Lauren's trying to make some money with her business, right? Because that's not her brand. Her brand is the old balloon animal that ends up looking a little suspicious. And she posts on there, guys, I found this in my son's bedroom and it's kind of inappropriate. And that was her post. And I was dying laughing over it. And that's Lauren. Like, her post lit up. All her friends were like, wow, that's so funny, Lauren, right? Like, just that's her. Now, if I tried to do that, it may not go as well because that's not my brand. So really, guys, your brand is who you are. It's just literally your personality in social media. Okay, I'm gonna have to go quick. I see we're almost out of time already. Okay, conversations. Just ask a lot of questions. Be interested, not interesting. Just ask and ask and ask. And then when you find their pain point, then you can say, have you ever heard of Juice Plus? I have no idea if it's for you or not, but I can send you a quick video because it sure has helped us. Something like that. Like, don't jump on them and try to puke out all the information. Just, now's not the time. I'll send you a video. What's your cell number? I can text it to you. And that is the easiest way to share this product. Ask a lot of questions and find a need for either the product or the business. This is the easiest way I can say by telling your story. You guys know how important my story is to me and how I really truly feel it was the gift that my ex-husband gave us to be able to provide for his kids. What is your pain or your struggle? And what are you excited about? That is so simple, and that is the way you're going to get a really concise story. You know, for the product, are you low on energy? So your pain or struggle might be, I was so low on energy, I wasn't being the mom that I really knew my kids deserved. And that's your pain. That's the real of it, right? Like, you're not just saying, well, I was kind of tired, and then, you know, the product has helped quite a bit. Like, no, like, I wasn't showing up as the mom my kids deserved. And it was really getting to me. So I am so excited that these plant concentrates have literally changed everything for me. And now I have all the energy in the world to do everything I want to do with my kids. And then you complete the above 2 steps with both your product and your business. Under 2 minutes each. Keep it really concise. Inviting to events. If you're new, you can always use the favor technique with your warm market, people who would naturally have been supporting you anyway. If there's somebody that's more cold market, ask those questions, find their struggle, and then I have no idea if this would be for you or not, but would you be open enough to attend this event, etc. Follow up. The purpose is to get a yes or a no, guys. I just did a call with a girl, and I was asking everybody to share one strength. And this girl said, my strength is that I've never once let a conversation end without an answer. I always get a yes or a no. And I'm like, always? And she said, yes. And she said the reason was one girl, one of her friends, was kind enough to say, you know what? You have followed up with me so professionally through this whole process. I can tell how much you love this product. It is so clear to me how much your heart is in this product. And that's how her follow-up was coming across. She was worried she was coming across as bothering people, but instead it was the exact opposite. It was really showing people how much value she had for this product and for them. So what she did for follow-up, just, you know, I'm going to show you So celebrate the no's because that's an answer. I always message 3 times in total. So the first message would be like, hey, thanks for taking a look. I'm so excited to hear what you love or what you like best. And then if you get crickets after the first message, hey, sorry to bug you again and trying to be all professional about my business. And again, if that's not your verbiage, tweak it, right? Like make it sound like you. And follow up with my guest properly. I would love to hear your thoughts. Still nothing, then this could be a third message that you would send. Trying not to be a stalker here, and then I would put some sort of emoji in there, but just really looking forward to your feedback in particular, because I look up to insert genuine compliment. And here's what this girl's doing. She just gives them a total out. She says, hey, I just have no worries about it at all, but I'm wondering if you changed your mind. So that's her fourth message. I'm wondering if you changed your mind. And if you did, my feelings will not be hurt at all. I just want to follow up and tie up any loose ends. So are you a yes or are you a no? And that was her magic question. And everybody answers that one. So that is a little bit about follow-up. Make sure you're celebrating those no's. I say here, after 3 messages, it's time to stop the formal follow-up, but you could do that fourth one that I just said. I think that I should probably change my presentation a little after talking to that girl. And then just get back to normal chatting, follow their post, like and comment on their stuff. If there's an opportunity, ask them a question. Oh, you went on a trip. You went to Vancouver Island? Did the kids love it? And get back to normal conversation so that it's not awkward if you can't get that message or that follow-up, yes or no. And then customer care. Simply put, guys, it's your job to get them in the habit of eating the product consistently. I've seen a lot of really complicated customer care presentations, and although they're all really good, really the nuts and bolts of it is help them figure out how they can swallow the capsules every day. That's it. Do they need to tie it into their coffee habit or their toothbrushing habit or their breakfast habit? Whatever it is, root it to an already existing habit. Point out to them what they may or may not have been noticing with what this product is doing for them, because a lot of times people won't notice this subtle increase in energy. But I'll ask my clients directly, have you noticed any improvement in energy? That's one of the things most of my customers notice. And they say, well, I'm not really sure. And I say, well, if you had to notice, how would it show up for you? And they will then say, oh, well, I always used to get an afternoon lull. Oh, wait. I have not been having my tired spell after lunch. Oh my goodness, right? Or I'll do that with bowels too, because that's another thing that usually improves for most of my customers as well. So just point out, try to get them to notice something, because when they see that this is making value in their life, then they see it as a valuable expense on their credit card every month. So that is the ultimate, what it boils down to, guys. And so here's just a summary of the income producing activities. I know that was a little quick. I'm glad it's recorded so you guys can watch the recording at the end. But posting, conversations, inviting to events, follow-up, and customer care. These are the things that pay us money and build our business. And anytime I'm feeling lost in my business and I'm in management mode, I just come back to this image and I'm like, okay, I need to get back to what's paying me and what's important in my business. So with that, I'll stop the screen share. And thank you guys so much for having me.
Michelle, that was absolutely glorious. Of course, people wanting every verbiage. I'm saying everybody just needs to watch it again and just fill in with your notes. But I do have one question, because it's not written on some of the ones. I did a couple of screenshots, but the one with the fourth message, what are you saying? That one was really intriguing. I thought I remembered it, then I went to write it down and it was out of my head.
Okay, the fourth message is, hey girl, or hey lady, or whatever, however you would address them. No worries if you've changed your mind. So you right away give them permission if they change their mind. It's not going to hurt my feelings at all. That's the second part that's really important. I just wanted to tie up the loose ends and get an answer from you because I treat my business very professionally.
Great. Does anybody have one last question? They're just absolutely can't stand it and they need to ask. And just unmute yourself.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Thanks for blessing us with great training.
Oh, you're so welcome.
This is Chris. I'm hiding in the shadows.
Oh, hi, Chris.
By the way, I do have to put a plug in. When I realized what an incredible decorator Michelle was that tiny house. Oh my gosh. We took somebody else's RV on a trip, and so we really couldn't, we rented it for them from the Renoas, you know, for our 2-year trip. So we couldn't redecorate, but I don't know whether it would have occurred to me to do what you did. And it's gorgeous. And that's when I said, oh my God, if she can do that to a tiny space, imagine what she could do at my house. Oh,
Here, let me share it. I've got a before and after. Here it is.
yeah, there it is. Before and after. Look at that. Before and after. It's crazy. Just take another 20 seconds. You have to look at it.
Oh, no, it just turned out amazing.
Wow.
We love it.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
it's
that's
so
great.
great. So I'm going to put this back to a quick, let's see.
Bring it down here next summer, Michelle.
What's that?
Bring the RV down here next summer.
We're thinking about it. We really are. I'm going to be in Seattle visiting my aunt, so we might just continue on down with it.
Come get some lake time.
Absolutely. You can show her where you are, Chris. So,
Let's do that.
if all of
Oh
you,
my goodness, yes.
yes, he's on our deck, looking at our dock. So if all of you would just please unmute yourself and seriously give Michelle just an amazing, warm thank you. It was an amazing call.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank
It
you.
was incredible.
That's a great
Thank
training.
you. It was a great
Good job.
Bye, everybody.
Canada.